Welcome to Cake on Tuesday, where we spotlight the rule breakers, the underdogs who refuse to listen when everyone said it won't work. I'm Elizabeth Bieniek, and for the next 20 minutes, we're diving into another disruptive innovation story that proves sometimes the craziest ideas change everything. Today's guest is Wyatt Meek. He's the Chief Commercial Officer at Arista Flow. He leads the commercial strategy and execution for Arista, which is a technology firm at the nexus of information technology and business transformation. He helps customers realize the value of real-time location services. Wyatt, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm really excited to jump in here. Can you start off by telling our audience a little bit about what you do and what sets your soul on fire about it?
So first off, Elizabeth, thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here and to be on this podcast. My passion is really around trying to solve problems for our customers. My background, I studied engineering because I like tinkering with things and I like to be able to look at problems. How can I take them apart and how can I innovate? How can I provide a solution? That mantra is something that I've carried through in my career. I quickly got out of engineering after graduating from Purdue and got into the business world. But what really inspires me and fuels me is the fact that I can help my customers solve their business challenges with technology. And at Arista Flow, that's what we're doing. So our customers have operational problems, losing things. Staff are getting assaulted in healthcare every day. It's sad. But we have technology that can help our customers reduce costs, increase revenue, reduce risk. And that's what inspires me. That's why I'm passionate about being where I am today.
Nice. So I like the fact you mentioned you have an engineering degree, but it was during an international co-op experience during your degree that you realized, I don't want to do this work, but I want to help this other area of business. What was that journey like? And what was that? Because a lot of people find that out once they've already been doing it for 10 years. What cued you in of where you were really passionate?
I'll do many shameless plugs for Purdue. I'm a diehard Boilermaker on the local advisory board. But it really started, I wanted to study engineering. I studied mechanical engineering, and at Purdue I was able to do a rotational program. So instead of graduating 4 years, I did 5 years, but I got to work every other semester. And I did rotations in test engineering, design engineering, patent work. And through that rotation in the US, German sites, I really got to understand, the different engineering disciplines, different career paths I could take. And in doing so, I kind of looked at, I really want to be more in the marketing or sales, it's, the business side of it. And so I really valued the opportunity to get exposed to the different engineering kind of jobs potentials during my time at Purdue. And in that, I realized, I was looking at, upon graduation, I was looking at consulting firms, looking at kind of tech firms, and had the opportunity to jump into the business world. I was lucky. So,
I like that. It's almost more like the apprenticeship model of try it out before you fully commit. And to me, that makes a lot of sense. So this is Cake on Tuesday. We talk a lot about celebration. When you're building hard things and you're leading a team and you're busy and you're trying to meet current quarter metrics, how do you make sure that your team and yourself, you're enjoying the journey, celebrating the milestones and celebrating along the way?
Yeah, you really need a solid culture in your business to be successful. You need to look at the failures, evaluate them, but, I like to say, you win as a team, as you lose a team. Everyone says that, right? But, truly, I need to have the back of my employees. They need to know that in hard times, I'm there for them. I'm a resource in good times as well. We need to celebrate those milestones. I'm looking forward to we're actually announced in Q3, we had phenomenal bookings and announced that actually in our newsletter. But, those are things I love to celebrate. Looking forward to many more accomplishments and celebrations as we go into wrapping up Q4 as well. But the key is, I like not to dwell on the weeklies and the quarterlies, but look at where are we going as a business and make sure the team is bought in to the successes and what we're really trying to drive to as an organization. And really highlighting the benefits that we're delivering to our customers. It's not just about the commission check. It's just not about the revenue and the bookings. It's like we're making a difference for our customers. And I actually just got a little hair in the back of my neck standing up because one of the areas that we specialize in is helping with mobile staff to rest. And in healthcare, our frontline workers are getting assaulted way too often. And some countries have passed regulation that require nursing staff in emergency units or behavioral health units to have a device. And so when we go and meet with clinical staff, it's listening to them and talking about how with this tag, with this device, I feel safe. I feel like my peers can help me if I get into a tough situation. And that's really inspiring. And I want my team members to hear that. It's not just, hey, we sold X thousands or millions of dollars on a deal. Yeah, let's celebrate that. But let's celebrate the fact that we're helping that organization really do a better job. We're helping those frontline workers. We're helping people do a better job at, do a better job. So to me, it's not just celebrating the simple wins. It's celebrating what is the impact we're having on our customers.
Yeah, that connecting it to the why and making it personal, making it real, because we spend a lot of our day at work. So if we're not really vested in it, yeah, it makes a big difference. Do you have any stories or examples you could share about maybe a case where it was either someone on your team or someone at the company when that really connected for them and it resonated, the why of we're not just here to sell units. This is the difference we're making in the world.
Yeah. In a previous role I had at Cisco Systems, I was leading a global industry team. And I'll give a shout out for Cisco because it wasn't just about selling the network switch or the widget. The team that I was leading at the time, our job was to make sure that we understand the outcomes that Cisco and our ecosystem partners, and by the way, AristaFlow is an ecosystem partner of Cisco, but it's how we can bring those technologies together to deliver on those outcomes. And so that's why my team was so passionate, because we were at the heart of addressing those outcomes and showing the customers what they can do with technology. I think that's really the key thing. And so whenever I have someone on my team that say, hey, there's a new ecosystem partner that I'd like to bring in, what is that ecosystem partner going to do, not just for our revenue and how we can, scale, but what is that ecosystem partner going to do to enable us to have that different conversation with the CIO, the CEO of our customers? And that's how we, as a seller, you're elevating your conversation. It's no longer talking to IT manager or IT director. No offense to IT managers and directors listening, but it's the fact that now I can relate that technology buying decision to something truly impactful that the CEO and that organization cares about. So anytime any one of my team members did that, and they did it all the time, we want to celebrate that, and really that's what inspired us.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You inspired me in that you found what you wanted to do right away and you've been doing it, which is great. I'm a bit more of a late bloomer. It took me a while to figure out what I was passionate about and what I wanted to do in this world. But I'm sure over the time you've been working in this space, your definition of success has probably changed from when you first started to maybe today. How do you define success for yourself now? And how is that different from when you first started out?
It's changed a lot over the years, to be honest. Like the field I'm in and what I'm doing hasn't really changed. But what motivates me and what I want to do next has changed over the years. When I first graduated from college, I was young, naive, and basically, people ask, what do you want to be? What do you want to be doing? I'm like, I want to be a CEO running a Fortune 500 tech company. I no longer say that. There's a lot of stress that goes along with that. And so I think it's really important for self-reflection for individuals to know, do you really want to be a manager? And or do you want to be an individual contributor? It shouldn't just be about the money that's driving you. It's around to what you asked before. What are you passionate about?
Yeah.
And so what I'm passionate about, as I've stated, is solving problems. But at one point I went from being a VP of sales, managing a team of individuals, and I went to an individual contributor role because, I wanted to break the management. I wanted to let me just focus on the impact I can have with customers versus necessarily leading a team. Now I am back leading a team now. So I did miss it, but I think it's really important for individuals to understand what's going to inspire them the most. At this point in my career, it's not just about the money. It's about, is what I'm doing having an impact and helping me, helping my family. I think the key thing is, are you learning something? The thing I love about in the role I'm in now and the roles I've been in over the last few years, I've always worked across industries. I've worked in manufacturing, retail, healthcare, financial services. And I'm always learning something every day when I talk to our customers. And so that's what I guess, again, what fuels me and inspires me. But I'd say, have I changed over the years? Yeah, I used to be monetary, just driven. I wanted that leadership. I want to do that. And now it's no, I want to make sure I'm having a difference. Certainly the financial side helps, but it really comes back to, are you making a difference? And am I excited to wake up in the morning and go to work?
Right. Right. So you mentioned something I think is really important there about you took time to really think about what is important and reflect and think about making this a purposeful journey. How do you do that? Do you have New Year's resolutions? Do you have year-end projections? Do you try and do a regular postmortem on yourself? What is your process to make sure you're reflecting?
I wish it was formal. I could give you a formal answer. It is more, I don't do New Year's resolutions. I'm an avid runner. I like to work out, but like to me, it's just like, I just need to do that every day. So like, it's just things I need to do. But, and I've had a lot of values instilled in me through family, through former coworkers. So that's why I'd say it's less formal and more, am I doing what I want to do? And do I feel like I'm being a good person about it? There's lots of things I look at, like traits from different leaders. I don't follow a single leader. I look at what traits do I like in different leaders out there. And, are they empathetic? Are they caring? And that's something, again, that's changed over the years. When I was younger, it was numbers and, like very analytical. Now I'm more soft. I have kids, but, I'm looking at the softer things of life. Yeah.
Okay, you brought up the topic, so now let's talk about kids for a minute, because I've actually been writing a Friday series on LinkedIn about how I think parenting has made me a better person in my job, because it brings up a different element of it. It helps well round us as individuals. If I pose that question to you, anything about your parenting journey that you think has made you a better boss, a better leader, a better employee?
I got to be careful how I answer that, because I'm like, do I want to relate children to my employees? I think the main thing is, I'd say what I've learned in work actually has made me a better parent. Well, I have a child who diagnosed with OCD, struggling with anxiety, and through work and empathy, always learning to listen. So trying not to overreact is something that, whether, I don't know if I first learned that through my wife or if I learned it from work and apply. I don't know which one I got it first.
Which way it went? Yeah.
Did I start from work and carry to my home life, or did I start my home life and go to my work life? But I think probably the main thing is try not to overreact. Okay, let me absorb the situation. Let me assess what's going on before I react, and make sure I listen and understand the full situation. And then I can respond. So I think that calmness is something that I've grown in as a person, but I don't know if that came from being dealing with parental situations first, or if it came from dealing with work situations first.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it talks about how valuable the skills can be in two different facets of your life. So they're very transferable. You mentioned you're a runner as well. I know a lot of people who run, they end up finding, if they haven't run for a while, it's like, I just need to go for a run. If you apply that same sort of logic to work, when we're talking about taking time and pausing and having reflection, do you ever have certain cues, either for yourself or for your team? You're like, okay, we need to take a pause, or, oh, I need to go for a run, or, okay, team member, you need to take some time, just think about that. What are those sort of cues that you notice in yourself and others?
I think sometimes we get too caught up in the moment, just going in the virtual world. I work from home. Most of my team works from home, and you just get caught up in like meeting. And like having those little breaks, like I want to block off 15 minutes. I want to block off 30 minutes. I want to look at not just the daily things and the hourly things I'm doing, but at the beginning of the week, am I on track to accomplish the goals I wanted? So making sure that you have those milestones that you're trying, like this week I need to accomplish this. If I'm going to take down a deal that might close 12 months from now, some of the deals we have take a long time to close, and you need to have a formal plan as to here's all the things that need to go together and not just go task to task to task, but make sure you have a long-term goal in mind, and you establish smaller goals along the way to achieve those. A big one.
So if we're talking about long-term and small goals that lead up to a long-term, if we apply that to innovation, how do you approach that when it comes to innovation? Because a lot of times you're looking at, we've got current mini innovations we're doing every day, trying to make things better, but they're also trying to balance that with the long-term. How are we making sure we're strategically relevant years down the road? What's your approach on innovation? How do you go after that?
Yeah, I should have their CEO answer that one. But in general, my strategy to innovation, we got to make sure that we're solving a problem that, one, does it exist today? And two, what do we think that problem's going to look like in the future? So, right now everyone's talking AI. AI is we'll never have to work again with AI, or AI is going to put us all out of business. But the idea is, okay, that's great. I was on the IoT bandwagon a few years ago, but before it was even called IoT in manufacturing, we were doing projects where we connected things, we get the data, we make better decisions. We don't need a fancy buzzword to call it, but I want to be looking at industries are going to change. They are transforming. So where do we want to be 2 years, 5 years? And really, how do we need to innovate now to be able to address the problems a year from now and the problems that we think are going to be there 5 years from now? So I always want to make sure we're focusing on the problem set that we think is going to be existing down the road, and not chasing a problem that existed 2 years ago.
Right. So what are you most excited about going forward?
From a company standpoint or just in general?
Well, you can answer either way, actually.
I mean, I will say I am really interested in, well, I am interested in AI, to be fair. So I am really intrigued as to how is that going to transform? How are going to be able to monetize it from a business standpoint? Even with IoT, we saw all too much people wanted to connect your water glass to know if your water level is low to notify the waiter, do it. Like, okay, you can do that, but is it really needed? And is there business justification? No. But so I want to look at the same thing around AI. Yes, AI can do lots of things, but it's also very energy intensive, very cost intensive. So how are we applying AI to actually solve problems that matter? And I want to make sure that as our business, we're looking at how can we leverage technology in a way that's going to solve the problems without also introducing risk, compliance issues, bias, etc. So it's a very interesting time to be alive and in the business world, the business and tech world.
Absolutely. And knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done different as far as your focus in school and early career, that if you had the magic crystal ball and knew that we were going to be where we are today?
Well, that's another loaded question. I mean, I kick myself sometimes like, hey, should I have gone into the financial world and, applied my mechanical engineering algorithms to do trading and look at that and invest in things. So, hindsight's 2020.
But would you have been passionate about it?
That's I would not. And that's actually the best point is, I'd be passionate about potentially the monetary side, but not the impact we're having. And so 100%, you're 100% spot on. And I'm glad. So that's why I had no regrets. But no, I'm glad where I am now.
So tell us a little bit about AristaFlow and what's coming next down the pike for you and where people can learn more about the company and more about you.
Yeah. So our number one industry is healthcare. I've kind of talked about some of those use cases, like helping patients get through a hospital faster, which then in some countries, they have backlogs of care and, many, many months. And, how can we help people get the care they need? How can we make sure the frontline workers are safe? Things go missing all the times in hospitals. So how can we improve that and helping the bottom line? Our cost of healthcare is so high. We can bring that down through creating efficiencies. But that's not our only industry. We're in manufacturing. Again, things go missing all the time in plants. Workers are getting hurt. In New York, they passed a regulation for retail workers. So retail workers need a button that they can press if they're under duress, if they're large in a size. Same thing in hospitality. Workers are assaulted all the time when their room attendants are going to clean, and they might be assaulted in some way. So schools as well. I don't even want to acknowledge how often we've had gun violence in schools in the US because it's terrible. But I mean, that's where the technology we have can help reduce the risk of incidents. We can create efficiencies. And so from a company, we're really focusing on the software to make it easier to leverage any technology. Right now, we're using Wi-Fi and Bluetooth low energy primarily to be able to track people and things in these organizations. But we're looking at newer technologies as well. So costs are coming down. The CAGR for the industry is expected to go anywhere 20% year over year growth. Some say 50%. So the market's there with costs coming down. It makes it extremely attractive to be in the industry and to be able to drive more outcomes that may have been cost prohibitive in the past, or the technology didn't support it. But so that's what I'm really excited about is we're innovating around new technologies. And then the software is so much more powerful now that we can do integrations with EHR systems in the healthcare world. We can integrate with SAPs in the industrial world. So it's not just about knowing a dot on a map where something is. It's now I can, when a patient's fit for discharge, I can automatically discharge them when they leave the room, notify cleaning to come turn the room, get that next patient in sooner. And in the industrial sector, I want to make sure that I have the right seats for the right vehicle at the right cell at the right time so it can be more efficient. But so those are the things that we can do and through those integrations that we have with other platforms.
That's very cool. So if people want to learn more about AristaFlow, what they're doing, where should they go? Arista,
AIRISTA.com. Go to the website, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to connect. We are hiring for different sales roles, marketing roles. We have some engineering roles out there. So check out us on LinkedIn, follow our blogs, go to our website. Yeah, connect with me. Happy to have further conversations.
Awesome. Great person, great company, doing great things in the world, and they're hiring everybody. Check them out. Wyatt, thank you so much for being here with us on Cake on Tuesday.
It was my pleasure.
Thanks for joining another Cake on Tuesday celebration of beautiful disruption. Please share it, review it, and find more innovative stories at podcast.cakeontuesday.com. I'm Elizabeth Bieniek. Be bold, stay curious. Now go have some cake.